Hello everyone. Before we start today's video, if you could all do me a solid and lightly tap the like button, perhaps share the video about and leave a comment. If you are not subscribed, subscribe as well. It would greatly help this channel. Thank you very much. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 22.122.2.9. I fed my crew some Christmas pudding that is loaded with all the crap gifts I've been given so far this year. If any of them happen to have any accidents whilst on duty, they can suffer in it. No time off and no medical aid. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is impromptu, but there's a good reason for it. You'd have seen it from the title, exciting news. Totally, yeah, alright. Amber Heard has agreed to pay Johnny Depp $1 million. Of the 10.35 she was due to pay, saying, "I never chose this," telling her fans my life as I knew it was destroyed by social media vilification, because that's what it was all about really, right? Social media totally influenced the outcome of the trial. Okay. Implication there being that the jury was in some manner co-opted, coerced and manipulated by social media, the very thing they couldn't use or be seen on, around, near, in fact talking to anyone that could in any way influence their interpretation of the facts. Okay, what a fascinating way to start this. So Captain Jack Sparrow and ex-wife Amber Heard have finally settled their defamation claims against each other, putting an end to the most bitter Hollywood divorce in modern times. And there I was thinking the divorce between Paul McCartney and the one with the leg thing, Heather Mills, was that it? Yes. Was quite a tasty one. Part of me now can't wait to see Tom Brady's divorce settlement when it finally happens. I know there's a prenup in there somewhere, but you never know. Some things do get spicy. Lawyers for the pair thrashed out a deal which will see Amber Heard's insurance company pay Johnny Depp $1 million to put an end to the case. It's over, everyone. Hallelujah. Sing "It's a Christmas Gift," everyone, missing a zero and $350,000 on top of it. But in an important victory for the actress, there are no restrictions about what she can talk about in regards to the case, and she has accepted no guilt. Well, I guess we all knew she never was going to in the first place. Everyone knew it. Everyone knows she's too arrogant to simply say, "I was wrong." And Johnny is too busy granting wishes for YouTubers who deserve it. For the sake of their history, I'm going to link a playlist covering the entire defamation trial and the original trial with the Sun, which was in the United Kingdom. That's the Sun 1, where they claimed he was a domestic abuser, the court saying high probability, yes sure, why not? Because that's how we work, everyone. Probability over fact. Alright, I've made my grievances on that quite clear, and I had only recently done a Where Are They Now on Amber Heard. I guess we're having to add this to it. Originally, Amber Heard was ordered to pay $10 million in compensatory damages, and $5 million reduced to $365,000 in punitive damages. Captain Jack Sparrow was ordered to pay $2 million because one of his lawyers goofed, and it was a counter-sue for defamation from Amber's team. So both legal teams have been locked in discussions to avoid the pain of a bruising third trial after Amber filed an appeal. She's actually filed a few, quite a few in fact were thrown out. Turns out, all these exhaustive measures that were costing more and more money was more than likely what led to her moving and relocating to Spain. That way, she can claim she's not a resident of America and therefore not subject to the damages. Since her acting career is in the drain, she had to sell off her home in wherever it is in Nevada, I believe. And by doing that, use that to live, I guess. Because she sure as hell doesn't have much in the way of support beyond Eve Barlow, someone who is so toxic, much like Amber in fact, but so toxic she was blocked by the Women's March. A source close to the actress Amber Heard said Amber is now looking forward to moving on with her life as she planned to do 6 years ago. She wants to put this unfortunate episode behind her and turn to what she loves in life, her career, her family and her causes. Let's go through those in turn. Her career. What career? Her family. She should have put that first in the first place. In fact, it should be above her career. And her causes. Yes, because being an ambassador for women's rights and domestic abuse victims, when you yourself are one, is a cause definitely worth having you as a champion of. Has about as much solidity as using a ghastly as a replacement for a hip. Amber Heard posted on Instagram, "My life as I knew it was destroyed by the court cases. adding she had lost all faith in getting justice in the American legal system, comparing it to her treatment in the UK courts, and claimed that her former husband had won in the Virginia courtroom because of a vote for popularity and power over reason and due process. You're right. That same due process stopped Johnny's team from using, let's say, unsavory images of you to paint you as a slut. It also stopped you from using the UK case as justification for everything you said, because the UK system and the American system, two separate trials, cannot be or should not be compared. Additionally, the UK one was an absolute travesty, a joke, a rip-off. No justice was served. It was a crock of absolute, actual, literal poop. Now, I had thought, when Amber sold her home, she sold it to perhaps start a new life. Turns out no, she sold it to fund further legal action, and that she didn't want to risk losing even more. The settlement in turn means her home insurance company will take on the payment to Depp, where she said, "I make this decision having lost faith in the American legal system where my unprotected testimony served as entertainment and social media fodder. That's because when you took to the stand, you were the most over-the-top pathetic actress anyone has ever seen. You should get a Razzie for that." Is it Razzle? Razzie? Yes, you should get one of those awards. The mock to the Oscars. Worst actress should be yours. Because when anyone else took to the stand during that trial, you were quiet, demure, unassuming, arrogant, very much so. Laughing at them? Definitely. When there was a risk of you and Johnny walking past each other, you suddenly jumped back into a corner only when you realized he was there. He was just trying to walk past you and you ran into a corner and cowered, pretending that he was terrifying. Oh, whoa! When he was sat no more than 3 meters away from you for the majority of the case. The full statement reads as follows. After a great deal of deliberation, I have made a very difficult decision to settle the defamation case brought against me by my ex-husband in Virginia. It's important for me to say that I never chose this. I defended my truth, and in doing so my life as I knew it was destroyed. The vilification I have faced on social media is an amplified version of the ways in which women are re-victimized when they come forward. Now I finally have an opportunity to emancipate myself from something I attempted to leave over 6 years ago, and on terms I can agree to. I have made no admission. This is not an act of concession. There are no restrictions or gags with respect to my voice moving forward. I make this decision having lost faith in the American legal system where my unprotected testimony served as entertainment and social media fodder. When I stood before a judge in the UK, I was vindicated by a robust, impartial, and fair system, where I was protected from having to give the worst moments of my testimony in front of the world's media, and where the court found that I was subjected to domestic and sexual violence. In the US, however, I exhausted almost all my resources in advance of and during a trial in which I was subjected to a courtroom in which abundant direct evidence that corroborated my testimony was excluded, and in which popularity and power mattered more than reason and due process. In the interim, I was exposed to a type of humiliation that I simply cannot relive. Even if my US appeal is successful, the best outcome would be a retrial where a new jury would have to consider the evidence again. I simply cannot go through that for a third time. Time is precious, and I want to spend my time productively and purposefully. For too many years I have been caged in an arduous and expensive legal process, which has shown itself unable to protect me and my right to free speech. I cannot afford to risk an impossible bill, one that is not just financial but also psychological, physical, and emotional. Women shouldn't have to face abuse or bankruptcy for speaking her truth, but unfortunately, it's not uncommon. In settling this case, I'm also choosing the freedom to dedicate my time to the work that helped me heal after the divorce, work that exists in realms in which I feel seen, heard, and believed, and which I know I can affect change. I will not be threatened, disheartened, or dissuaded by what happened from speaking the truth. No one can and no one will take that from me. My voice forever remains the most valuable asset I have. I'd like to thank my outstanding appellate and original trial teams for their relentless hard work. I want to thank everyone who has supported me and turned my attention to the growing support that I've felt and seen publicly in the months since trial, and the efforts that have been made to show solidarity with my story. Any survivor knows that the ability to tell their story often feels like the only relief, and I cannot find enough words to tell you the hope your belief in me inspires. Not just for me, but for all of you. Oh look, Eve Barlow liked it. Now, of course, we should make a few points concerning this statement. It is important we do that. You never chose this? Right, of course you didn't. because you spoke some shitty words in a Washington Post op-ed. You made some claims that were proven to be about Johnny Depp. That was the point. To prove it was about him. He had to prove it was all a lie. That's what he did. You wanted to move on with your life because your career was going up. His went in the drain. Women's voices were heard, and they were screaming at you to stop devaluing actual victims. You claim how you were treated in the UK, vindicated by a robust, impartial and fair system. The reason you won was because of high probability, no fact. And that's a stark contrast from the US system there, where he had to prove everything. Now, did he have to prove you pooped on the bed? Because I can't remember. You talk about how you want to spend your time productively and purposefully because of expensive legal processes and all that and your right to free speech. Good luck with that. Your career's in the tank, and if anyone does want to work with you, they're only showing that they are just as toxic as you are. You, to me, Amber Heard, are the avatar of botoxic femininity. That's what you are. Nearer the end, you mentioned speaking your truth, and your voice is the most valuable asset you have. You're right, because you are one of the best bullshit artists alive. It's just a shame when in a courtroom, apparently your ability to BS your way through things failed miserably. I hope your career stays in the drain because that's where it belongs. While there are no restrictions on what you can and cannot say, which is right, it would do you well to never speak of it again. Rebuild your career with independent movies like you've been trying to do recently anyway. It is your only option as an actress to try and forge a career. If people give you a chance to be an A-list celeb actress again, honestly, faith would have been well and truly annihilated at that point. You don't deserve it. You had your chance.